and kind of get caught out a few times, and unexpected. He's been picking this Talia up, like you were saying earlier, and he's made quite a few mistakes on his main, and it hasn't really had the impact. He's now off his main and he's onto this Victor. See how this is going to go. But we're onto the Rift for our third game of the day. I think eyes for me, at least early, are going to be towards Reptile and Kiba in the bot lane.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm really surprised they didn't just ban away the Syndra, because Syndra counters Unexpected's entire pool. Right? Everything that I would want Unexpected on, Syndra just destroys it. So I'm honestly really surprised they didn't just ban it away, but maybe they just prioritize other bans, But we'll have to see how they do it. I imagine Flawed is just going to go for a standard full clear, whilst Johan does look for that 3 camp into, action that we're seeing very, very frequently on the meta junglers. I haven't been convinced by Udyr. I don't know if you saw the LEC, but there's a lot of hype around Udyr in the LEC community and the whole global community that Udyr is that, that next big thing, the counter to the meta that everyone's looking for. But every time I see it played, it just doesn't do anything. And then it dies. Maybe that's down to execution, but in my opinion, it just doesn't look the best.
Ooh, Kiba trying to contest this for the moment. The Ignite's being thrown down, but there was no summoner burn. Oh, there was a heal burn by Kiba. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Nativz get control of the bush. Able to clear out the ward. But now we're at that point where Reptile, when he hits that level 2, will have quite a lot of bursts. And obviously, you still running that Sivir on the side of Nativz. So the expectation there is, you are going to be taking it a little bit more chill. Obviously, you do have quite a lot of shoving power just because you are Sivir. And inherently, that champion has a serious amount of shove. There's Fire Rain, making sure he doesn't miss that caster minion with that Force of Will. It looks like he's actually matching right at the moment to Unexpected, but obviously haven't got all their points and wave clear available quite yet. I don't know much about
coming
this
in
top lane matchup. I don't know much about this top lane matchup, unfortunately. So, I mean, this is kind of your area as the top lane player.
Yeah. I mean, I just break it down real quick. It's not that complicated. Like, Gwen at her core is a scaling champion, right? She has a lot of scaling in her kit. She needs to get levels, especially levels. Her big spike's like level 13 because her mobility increases as she gets leveled in Ori and she maxes it second. So she wants that. But basically how this goes is K'Sante excels at short trades, short pokey trades where he Qs and then autos afterwards. He wants to do that like this and then back away.
Potentially. Oh, he took a tower shot!
Is that a kill?
Banderas dashed into the tower.
Wait, what happened? Wait, Spooder, this is the second solo kill he's had. I need to see that again because I'm not sure what happened.
Unfortunately, we don't have it. But he eased into the tower. I think he was trying to dodge Spooder and just totally misaimed it and went into the tower. That was so rotten for him. Looks like Flawed's actually coming down. The moment Reptile tries to go for the fight, they are going to look for the lockdown onto him. Instant cleanse out. So much damage onto Reptile. The burn doing just a phenomenal amount of damage, and that's the problem. If you go for that dash early, it can bite you back a little bit.
Yeah. And do you want to know a fun fact about K'Sante in the LEC specifically? It's like 90% of K'Sante games, they find like a kill, some stupid kill by flipping them into the tower. It's like, have you ever seen a Singed flip someone into a tower and they just die? Yeah. This is what happens every single game in the LEC with K'Sante. For some reason, top laners, they just can't learn. I can say that because I'm a top laner myself, and I get flipped by Singed and K'Sante as well, and I just die. It's just so easy to die to this champion if you overstep even a tiny amount.
Do you know, there's a lot of talk about well-designed champions. A lot of people always go to Jhin as a well-designed champion.
Oh, Yuumi, yeah.
I think that's on the other end of the scale. I'm going to be honest with you. As Flawed is getting himself in a fight here with Fire Rain. He's getting the stun off, but Monkey Bop comes in, and Johan able to secure that, and he'll get himself a Scuttle Crab as well as his prize. Lovely little pickup there. I'm just going to go back to my kind of well-designed champion discussion. Do you know who I think is actually a well-designed champion and hasn't really had much done to him in a long time? Singed. I actually think he's not good, right? Like, a lot of people don't play Singed. And he's annoying as hell to play, but thematically, he's actually a well-designed champion. Like, he really hits the theme of that champion so well.
That certainly is an opinion. I can't say I agree.
Why do you think he's a bad designed champion? What about him do you think is badly designed?
Well, I mean, okay, so the champion basically top lane, it likes to not interact, right? You know the whole proxying thing. It hates interaction. It'll do that, and it's incredibly. I just feel like it's incredibly unintuitive.
He's
What
annoying.
champion?
Oh, he's annoying as
Yeah.
hell. Don't get me wrong. I hate playing into him, but I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. But like his design is, he doesn't interact, and he you know, proxying is like a unique thing which he's one of the few champions which is capable of doing. And as stupid
maybe
as it is, I think he pulls it off. We might have to hold that thought though, because Banderas is in danger. The ult comes out. Banderas timed that beautifully. The tower shot. The triumph. Spooner with the solo kill again.
And Spooner is having an absolute terror. Look at this flip. He managed to walk inside the Gwen immune to get that range in the range of the Q3. Managed to ulti, even tanking the tower, but confident in his mobility to get out afterwards and gets his second solo kill of the game. He's had 3 solo kills in the last 2 games. What is going on with this play? It's incredibly good gameplay in the past 3 games.
Really, really close there. Unbelievable. I can't believe he got that. And Banderas genuinely played that well to get him under the tower, like saved the dash until the moment, and then just unfortunately still went down. Now Riddle are going to use the power they have got in this bot side to pick up some damage onto this dragon, and actually Flawed as well gets himself caught out. They got the unleashed power. There's going to be the shield coming in. Fire Rain now taking a bunch of damage in response as he's getting zoned out for the moment. Remix pops himself the spell shield as they do throw down the Chaos Storm. The Polymorph lands on the Fire Rain. He has to flash away. Bubble does land. Can Johan get the smite? He's able to, and he's able to get out as well. Gets out with his life. Unbelievable. Riddle able to secure that objective.
And they walk away limping. They managed to secure it, but everyone's on 200 HP. It was incredibly close. I thought that was going to get stolen away by Flawed, but clearly not. Managed to get it and secure it, and you've got to be... another sigh of relief for the side of Riddle. Really glad that didn't turn worse, because I saw a potential quadra kill there. You know, everyone dying on that side.
Oh, that could have been dirty. That could have been messy, but they are A-okay. And even with Banderas going down twice, he has actually got a farm lead over Spooder. Spooder will be catching up somewhat underneath his tower. But man, that is, even with the misplays, he's still doing an okay job of keeping himself relevant. And it's Gwen. Gwen still spikes on, is it 3 items or 2 items nowadays? I believe it's 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have your spikes. You want to get to certain levels and you want to get the items. Usually it's like Riftmaker +1, you know?
Yeah.
But this has got to feel good for Spooder, right? Because he was coming into this league, he was touted as potentially the worst top in the league. But the past 2 games, he's really proving those tier lists wrong. And he's doing it against like what people call potentially the best top in the league outside of WoW, right? It was like WoW and then it was Banderas. That was the unanimously agreed upon like ranking for top laners, and Spooder's getting the better of him. Was counterpicked as well against Gwen, but this action topside, is Gwen going to die again, or? Doesn't look like it.
They've got Ghost, and they've got their team nearby. I think Banderas is feeling comfortable because his team is in the area, and the fact he had Ghost as well, so he's just going to get these honey fruit that was left down for him. Nice little snack. Rift Herald. I'm curious where Johan's going to use this. Is he going to try and look to accelerate the likes of Reptile or Fire Rain, or is he going to try and recover top lane for Banderas and, you know, give him some plate golds? Actually, with the fact that 2 plates have already gone down, a good gank into a Rift Herald, even if Spooder survives the gank, could be a first tower blood over to Banderas, and suddenly that lane, which is in a little bit of a deficit, could come back somewhat. So I actually think with those 2 plates being down, I'd like to see this get used in topside.
Yeah, potentially. That is definitely something you could look for. It's a little bit tricky, right? Because you can't exactly dive the Cassante, and he's super tanky and super mobile, right? So it's pretty tricky. However, Johan is quite fed. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think Johan's going to path down to his bot camps and potentially use the Herald, maybe onto the Lucian to accelerate him to that Gale Force spike, because the Gale Force mandate spike is super important for this combo. And I think I would prefer that too. I think the Gwen is inevitably going to get to do Gwen things, you know, into this melee composition with Cassante and Udyr. She is eventually going to start shredding them. And yes, she might be a little bit behind, but she's keeping up with CS, you know, like you'd expect her to be down in CS, and tempted chunk here, but it doesn't look like it's going to mean anything.
I think also, just as I'm kind of noting, we got 2 minutes until the dragon comes up. So actually, by the time he's done the camps and kind of got either mid or bot set up, he can put the Herald down, then transition that into one of these objectives. So yeah, you know what? Maybe not using it in that top lane. I think Banderas is actually probably fairly equal in gold, just because of those 2 tower plates and the farm he's got. I'd like to have a quick look at the gold. I'm assuming Spooder's got a lead, but I don't think it's absolutely monumental. No, it's really not. It's 400 or 500 gold, so it's actually not the end of the world. Banderas has done a very good job of stemming the bleeding from one mistake and also one outplay from Spooder. Really, really clutch stuff. Is wow, Remix does eat a little bit of damage, but great shielding and healing coming in and available. 1 minute 10 until this dragon comes up. And Johan has cleared out all of his bottom camps, so he's going to be able to now rotate around freely and pick up what he wants. His unexpectedly takes the scat of the week. And with him chunked out, this now may lean towards mid lane, being that point of attack, as Johan already moving into the area. Flawed is going to spot him out, though. He's got the stun to lock Johan in place. Johan doesn't give a damn, has got a tidal wave, but I think a little bit of a miscommunication there is going to blast Cone away to safety.
And oh, look at that damage. A level down. Is this an ulti into a kill?
Again? No way, Banderas. You're not getting caught again like this. Needlework's coming in for the slow. A Spooder is chasing Banderas down, able to just about dodge away. That's twice now in this game that's happened.
Yeah. Are you seeing what I mean? Every single time anything happens with K'Sante in early lane phase, it's a flip into a tower. Every single time. And I don't understand how this happens so consistently. It's like it happens in almost every single K'Sante game. It's like an expectation. Now, Spooder looks like he might be able to get demolished from topside, but there might also be a 3v3 bot.
Yeah, they're coming in. Baloo's going to flash forward to get the Cyclone off, and he's going to have to heal to keep himself alive. Second Cyclone available to Johan. Flashes forward. Flard is going to be able to get out. They have that Rift Herald. They can get pressure in this bot side. They should be able to get most of these plates. And fortunately, we are going to have ourselves a quick pause off the back of that one. I'll get production to give me a quick update on what's going on that front. But a very, very messy start and a bit of a sloppy start to this game from Riddle, a team who, we were talking about as the best team in the league and the team who everybody is touting as being one of the strongest teams. Realistically, this is versus a 0-3 team, and it is way closer than it should be. I mean, I'm going to expose you here, Oregon. In the break, you said to me, I think this is going to be like a 20-minute and done game. And I don't think this is going to be a 20-minute and done game.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of eating my words hard, but it still looks like it's Riddle favored, right? I think I'm predicting.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think sub 30 minutes still for the side of Riddle. Okay, maybe that's copium because I failed my prediction before, but I still think it's probably gonna be a sub 30 minutes. They're still accelerating, and whilst Banderas is not having the best game, other teammates are stepping up. Look at Johan; he's 2-0 already, and this guy. You know what? This is a prediction I'm confident making right now. He's going to be the end of season MVP for the entire league. Okay, he is unbelievably cracked. I think he's probably the best player in the league, and every single game, his gameplay reflects that.
I think in hindsight, actually, after kind of making that point, I think it's Banderas making mistakes more than all of Riddle, right? Like, I was kind of like, Riddle are making mistakes, they don't look great. It's actually, Banderas still looks fine, but like, he is making some pretty criminal mistakes. The rest of his team are doing a fantastic job of keeping themselves relevant. I mean, if we look at the gold lead right now, 2,000 over to the side of Riddle. The individual gold leads as well. I mean, jungle is almost 1,000 gold difference there. Bot lane, significant gold difference there. Mid lane, 800 gold lead over the fire lane. Like, the gold leads are spread out as well. And that doesn't bode particularly well for Nativz because it means multiple people will be accelerating away from them at once. And top's still fairly equal. So at the end of the day, Spooder has been able to capitalize on some mistakes made by Banderas, but ultimately hasn't really cost him too much. And they're going to get the plates here as well. So first Tower Blood, including plates, is Remix is assassinated. I did not see that one coming.
He's just completely evaporated by the culling 100-0. I don't think he saw it coming. I didn't see it coming because I guess I don't play bot lane. And he just one-shot him with that completed Gale Force plus Zeal. It must have just been enough damage to destroy him. Look at that item differential on bot side. That must be why. Wow, I didn't expect that.
There's a pink ward here, so Spooder will be able to see Johan coming in, but the slows from the needlework makes it pretty hard for him to get away. He has the knock-up. They're bringing the teleport in. He's going to blink out there with the charge of the ultimate. Second charge, the Cyclone. Johan's out. Ultimate for teleport and ultimate burn.
Does look like they're going to be recalls now and a free Rift Herald. You want to know something funny? That I was speaking to Banderas, right? I don't think there's going to be any action now. It just looks like a free Rift Herald. I was speaking to Banderas about how he thought a matchup went, right? Because I like to talk to the top laners, see how they're doing in the league. And Banderas was telling me how he was struggling against Cassante, like in this one matchup where he played Camille into Cassante or something like this. And he said it was impossible to tell how good the enemy top laner was because Cassante, and I quote, is a noob champ. That was his entire description of Cassante. So, I mean,
you know what? That's funny because when me and you talked, you were saying, yeah, Cassante's got quite a high skill ceiling. So which one is it?
Yeah.
That's
See, the thing
real
is,
question.
I think he does, but that's relative to other tanks, right? It's like Cassante's the hardest tank, but your competition is Ornn, right? So
yeah, okay.
I think it's fair to say.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Spooder is playing it very well. He's
still playing extremely well.
Banderas has found Remix here. He's looking to chase him down. He hasn't actually got the needlework, but the snip, cut, down goes Remix. Back to the grey screen with a fancy new haircut. Banderas gets himself on the board with his first kill.
And despite being 0-2-0 down, still finding those proactive plays, right? That's just the mark of a good player. The ability to come back, even despite having like deficits. Do you remember 29G2? Do you remember this, Brain? They were so good. You know, they would go behind, but then they would find all these ways to come back, whether it's picking on side, whether it's split pushing. But that was what made them so good. And every time I see teams, I don't just want to see how good they are from ahead. You know, I want to see, like, when they lose, when they go down a deficit, what do they do that's creative, that lets them come back into games? And Banderas is showing it. You know, he flanks the AD carry with Ghost. It's really, really solid stuff.
I also think we are seeing more of that kind of team Riddle we wanted to see. Here, I think we're seeing Johan being very proactive with the team. I think, you know, it's being more, you know, this game is, while there's some really solid solo performances coming out, I don't think it's defined by the solo players this time. I think we are actually seeing exactly what we wanted from Riddle, which is a very team-focused and a very kind of group-played focused version of the team. A bit of a miscommunication there as Kiba throws out the tidal wave.
You were just talking about that.
Not an overly long cooldown, as Rift Herald also gets summoned here. Can Fire Rain finish it up before the charge comes down? Yes. So they'll have a full health Rift Herald to work with on this charge. And now over to the side of Nativz. Can they hold this tower? The Scout of the Week will force them out of the bush. In charge is Shelly. Tower's low. Are they going to get the second charge, or are they going to call it off? I think the smart decision is to call it off. Spooder will be able to take out the Shelly and make sure that that is not going to do any more damage. Meanwhile, Banderas on the other side of the map is going to start up some damage onto this top lane, bot lane tier 2. It looks like nobody's actually looking to contest him on that. And he's at the point now where he's got that Riftmaker, he's got the snip. He can actually cut through the waves really, really fast. Decides to play it smart and just take away camps instead of risking his life for a bit of tower damage.
Yeah, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but it just feels like Nativz are always one step behind in terms of macro. Riddle will be making a play and, like, for example, hitting that turret, hitting the tier 2 turret, and Nativz will be late, they'll arrive, and then the tower's gone, you know, or they just can't step up in the first place. It feels like, despite being comparable gold, you know, with Spooder, they just don't have the macro knowledge or the level at pushing their lead or matching or making any, like, proactive play. But maybe I'm about to eat my words as Fire Rain might walk up to CS here, and Flawed finds a kill.
Oh, he's used the scatter. He's in trouble. He flashes away. That is the Chaos Storm burn. Flash down from Fire Rain. He just greeted for the wave. He knew something was up, and he thought he could maybe just clutch it out and get out in time. But unfortunately, not going to be the case, as he does lose his flash for that. But he's able to hold his life. The tower still stands. He's still going to be A-OK on that front. Does mean, though, you know, now that if top lane tower does go down at any point before his flash comes back up, he's going to be a long way away from home in a long lane with no flash.
Yeah, no, and he's going to have to overextend. Control mages do not like extending like this. They're too easy to pick off, you know, like this Ghost Udyr. Ghost's going to be up very soon. You just flank him. The same with Spooder, but will he stay in the side lane? Probably not. He'll probably just push out a wave, then go group up on the dragons. That's pretty much the meta right now. 4th dragon will be spawning eventually. I just realized, how did they get 4th dragon whilst being so far behind? Johan is a demon. Is he really securing every single Rift Herald and dragon whilst being behind top side and bot side?
Yeah, he was behind earlier, but to be fair, he has been the glimmering hope of his team. Like 3-0 right now. Yeah. He's very, very strong. And I just think, you know, he was taking like good opportunities to take these dragons. Like a lot of the kills and a lot of the mistakes, but well, I mean, Banderas is the only person who's died, but a lot of the mistakes that were being made by Riddle didn't really come at like opportune times for Nativz to then punish. and take an objective off the back of, when Riddle were actually, you know, even though bot side, I don't think they weren't losing. They made, you know, like a rough trade at the beginning of the game, but like they were making sure that they were set up to secure these dragons for the team. So I think it was just, you know, again, team play, good shot calling, great decision making. As that's a tidal wave, that's a Lulu who's alive because she wild growthed herself, but a dead tower. Riddle, they did burn a lot there, but you know, they got the tower ultimately, and only one tower outside the base now stands to the side of Riddle.
Yeah, like you said, ultimately completely confident they can do that because the tower's so low. If the dive ever did start to get dicey, they just kill the tower, right? It was one Sheen proc away. Spooder trying to steal away the Grump. I think it's too tanky and he doesn't get it, but Flawed. I want to highlight Flawed, right? Just bring him back to what was the game plan from Nativz? Their plan was to use priority early game and just scale up, right? And hopefully have Flawed out farm Johan, but he's down at farm, and yes, his camps are being contested, but he hasn't really done anything. And this is the problem I have with Udyr. I feel like, in theory, it makes sense. You just out farm the Wukong while he tries to find ganks, but the Wukong always finds stuff. And you're against Johan, right? Johan will find plays on this Wukong. He has done all, like, the past 4 games. And in the end, the scaling just comes online too late.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. It's been a bit of a rough one on that front. Obviously, you do still have Sivir. You do still have that kind of like 300 CS, 3 item Sivir kind of power spike, and that's always something that can't be sniffed at, especially when you got the Lulu backing it up, when you've got, you know, the tanky Udyr and the tanky Cassante standing in front as well. You know, are there going to be the opportunities for the likes of Reptile to be able to jump in and burst out Remix enough to kill him, or Johan or Banderas? Like, are they going to actually be able to survive long enough if we do get to that point? But at the moment, that's not a problem. At the moment, Riddle have got themselves a significant gold lead. They've got a lot of pressure on the map, and they are calling the shots on when these plays go down. Now, in jumps Flawed. He's going to do his best. He's not going to be able to steal the Baron away, though. It was a solid attempt. They only really committed the 1 life for it. So I actually think, ultimately, Nativz, it was the right decision to be made. They tried, they failed. You know, better to lived and lost. Wait, that's not the saying. It's better to have lived and lost than to.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
There we go.
Spooder's looking for a pick potentially. I don't like that Baron from the side of Riddle. This might be controversial, but I think, considering how far ahead you were, how can you let a bare stance Udyr who's CC immune walk into a Baron pit and have it actually be stealable? Right, I think that was actually a genuine mistake from Riddle, letting the Baron get too low. I think they needed to leash the Baron, keep it at like 3k or whatever, so that Flawed couldn't run in there and potentially steal it, because you can't stop an Udyr running into the Baron pit. Maybe they didn't realize in the moment, which is completely understandable. His rework's barely recent, and it's hard to think about in the moment, but yeah, I think if we're going to be nitpicky, that was a misplay, which could have costed them at least 5 minutes of the game extending, because they would have gotten Baron, because there was no way to stop that Udyr from stealing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here we go. We're going to see
Chemtech
Riddle
Soul
going for that Chemtech Soul. That is going to be a rough one now for Nativz to be playing into. Spooder will be able to get that objective bounty. Take that top lane tower for himself, and a lot of solo gold to himself there as well. The problem is, like, yeah, that's great gold onto your Cassante, but, like, he's kind of okay. Like, he's the one player on Nativz right now who's probably not as reliant on getting that gold for himself, because he's, you know, he's got his 2 items. He's feeling very comfortable. He got those 2 kills in lane as well. So he's A-okay. Realistically, you want Remix to be picking up as much gold as possible, but obviously Remix had to be in the base to be able to clear out this minion wave. So, you know, again, it's just the opportunities came to Nativz, but I just think at not the most opportune times. Oh. That was a bit rotten. Keep it.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty. Okay, so heal popped, and I mean, it's fine, I believe. Like, the Chemtech Dragons are actually keeping them sustained a little bit. Spooder might have a pick here, but I don't think he has the damage, and Riddle are probably going to be able to collapse. I think it's just going to be a 3-lane siege, whilst Nativz try to engage on 1 lane, right? Because this is the counterplay to a siege. You just try to barrel it down, stop 1 lane, stem the bleeding a little bit, find that engage. But they just don't have great engage. They'll have to commit a severe ult, but the problem is then that has to work, right? The second that severe ult doesn't work, you just have nothing. right? Which is a really big problem with this roster, this champion select. They just have no engage outside of a severe ulti, so they can't stop this this siege.
And I think the Syndra then, in turn, is a fantastic pick into it, because you press the Sivir ult, the Scatter the Weak pushes you back, it may stun if you have the orbs as well. It really slows down that ability to go for the engage and kind of just wastes time. So, honestly, it's rough for the side of Nativz right now. They're behind, they're lacking engage, 10k deficit in the gold front. They've got Soul against them. And the side of Riddle right now, you know, they've got 4 minutes until the Elder Dragon comes up. They've got 2 minutes until the Baron comes up. You know, they are in a position now where they can just look to play this game at their tempo. Obviously, they don't want to take too long. They don't want Sivir to come online and completely overtake the game, but I don't think that's a realistic threat right now.
Yeah, and also, Nativz do have the tools to stall, right? This is the strength of their team. Whilst they don't have a lot of engage, they do have, you know, we have severe Victor wave clear, meaning they can't get sieged upon, and maybe, you know, the win condition of eventually stalling out. I'd say they probably have, like, you know, there's a 1% chance this actually stalls out versus that Soul. Flawed, getting chunked, trying to find that pick, trying to move in and get that vision. This poor singular ward is just going to get immediately taken, and they're just going to go back, you know, potentially reset, get more wards.
It's going to be hard for Nativz to move out of their base. They've got great, you know, like you're saying, great ability to clear those waves, but I think the problem is they can't actually leave the base. All they can do is farm and just hope. And, like, realistically, you have... I mean, the Baron's going to be hard to give up, but, like, it's that Elder, I think, is the real kind of, like, okay, if Nativz give up Baron and Elder, the game's done. Because all it takes is a little bit of poke to kill somebody at that point. All it takes is the Baron minions just to be able to siege the lanes. With both of those tools combined, I think that is the definitive moment where Riddle can close the game out. And if Riddle don't close it out with both those tools, then there's problems. I just think Nativz, you know, do they look to give up the Baron and just take an extra minute of farming to get, you know, maybe that Infinity Edge finished up onto Remix? But is he going to get an IE in the next minute? He's going back to base. He got an Agility Cloak. So he hasn't even got 1,300 gold to buy the BF sword with.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right. It's all about spikes and potentially getting to a spike where you say, guys, we're not going to get any stronger than this. We take a fight. It is a really dire spot, and I would not want to be flawed right now. Yes, he just got to his 2-item spike, but for the past 5 minutes, I don't know if you've been watching him. He's even emoting because he has nothing to do, right? Flawed has been walking around accompanying, bodyguarding people because he has no camps to take because they've all been taken, right? Every single one. He can't face check the jungle. He is right now, fortunately, because the entirety of Riddle is coming off of a reset, but for the past 5 minutes, he really has had nothing to do.
Yeah, it's been hard to play the Udyr in here, and it didn't quite pan out like they planned, unfortunately. As Remix showing off the powers of the Sivir there is going to get chunked out heavily by that culling, but is able to hold his life for a little bit. And those tower shots actually somewhat equalize out the trade, but unfortunately, there's an army. The Nami heals come in. Reptile almost back to full health already. And Reptile himself hasn't actually... Oh, he has finished up that third item. He's got the Gale Force, Hurricane, and... not Hurricane, Rapid Fire Cannon and the Mortal Reminder. Building towards that IE for himself right now. But like I was saying, Remix, he hasn't quite got the gold yet to go that IE, get that third item. And I think with that, he might have a window. He might have an opportunity. We expected this Baron to be given up. It's this next objective. 1 minute until the Elder Dragon comes up, and already Nativz trying to get some wave presence, some wave dominance here. But Remix, no ultimate available, has to flash. He has to heal. He has to try and hold his life, but I don't think Johan's going to give him the opportunity. 2 members go down. Riddle, it was all a bait. They don't need it. They don't need the Baron. Unexpected is popped. Riddle finds 4 kills. And now the wave clear is dead. Spooder, level 16, has to hold versus 5 members of Riddle on his own here. They've got the teleport on Banderas to make sure that he comes in with the minion wave. And these towers will be going down. I think, unfortunately, for the side of Nativz, their opportunities to get into this game have been denied. And it has been a slower, more tempered, but more controlled game by Riddle. Under 30 minutes, you called it. Riddle go 4-0.